Good
Well,
evening.
welcome to the Smash Dell Fantasy Show. I'm Smash. That, of course, is Purple, the weekly show where we try to bring you something that you can take to the bank as long as it's not insured. So the show, to end all shows, we got a lot to get to today. Good opening, great opening we had there. Kind of what we're going to do is have that trend where we're going to go ahead and honor John Facenda. You know,
it's awesome. I love it.
The autumn wind is a pirate. And I can never, number one, get sick of John Facenda. And the other thing that I'm finding is that there's a lot of history, a lot of material with John Facenda. And as you heard on the opener there, it was not kind to the Vikings. That was the 79 season John was recapping when the Vikings lost
for the
their
Vikes.
last six. And again, that was 50 years ago. And, we're going to pick other decades as well, because the holiday series is going to include the Facenda highlights of the Chiefs Super Bowl IV, which there's some just really good stuff in there with Hank Stram.
Brutal.
We're going to have some clips on keep matriculate the ball down the field there, boys. We're going to have a clip on that. They actually somebody questioned matriculate, and they actually kind of took them to task on that. And so there's an update on matriculate and some things, but the Super Bowl IV, of course, the one, I think it was 74, the Dolphins, where they scored six against Pittsburgh, and they scored 14 against got crushed by Madden, and then scored 7, I think it was, in the first Super Bowl. But all of them have a similar theme running throughout them, which really comes right up to and through the missed kicks, the Favre picks, the kind of the trilogy of horror, if you will. And so I think the kids that really haven't, like, I really hadn't watched Super Bowl IV, the Vikings Chiefs, but you know what? Len Dawson and Hank Stram had this West Coast offense. He was a what you call it there, the Green Bay guy.
You talking about Vince Lombardi?
He was a Vince Lombardi disciple.
Okay, I got you.
He used a lot of mixed motion, guys going, and the Vikings were.
Your nostalgia. Hold up here a sec. Your nostalgia harkens me back to the game we just watched on Monday Night Football, and it was all running. That's the old days. That was old school football. What Mr. Belichick did. So it's kind of good we're getting nostalgic, because I think Belichick was a little nostalgic on Monday night.
Yeah, what was it? One pass in the second half or some shit?
One pass in the first half, 2 or 3 passes overall. So all that Mac Jones had to do was make sure he didn't fumble the handoff, and that was his job.
Yeah, for sure.
An incredible display of power football.
Yeah, I loved it. I really did. So we're going to have that series of Facenda, different Super Bowls, different takes. I'm going to do a special on Christian Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare. A lot of people don't know who he is. And so people are going to get to know some of these guys. And so I think it's going to be cool over the holiday season. We'll just post these up.
A little nostalgia.
But I think we probably should start out the program and maybe address a little bit of the.
Was there league controversy? Was there some league
controversy? There was a little bit of, I would say, very high drama. There was a lot of F birds at our phones both were pinging, and
that's been the most league excitement we've had in a few years. We haven't had that type of days of our lives drama for quite a while, actually.
No, I
almost kind of missed it. Not really, but almost.
I think the last time that somebody had that psycho owner, probably brought in by Mort, but he like wanted to kill me. He wanted to track me down and he wanted me to meet somewhere.
I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know who he was, but you know, I'm sure I was disabled. I know I was. I know I was. And
that wasn't that long ago. It's only a couple years ago.
no. It's got to be.
Is it
Got
that
to be
long?
10. It's got to be 10.
Oh God, I
10 years
forgot.
ago.
Man, the years have gone by.
Somebody can probably remember who it was, but yeah, he
You
went.
got to contact Mort on that one.
He went AWOL, man. He just went totally AWOL. But those are
few and far between, which is good. But every once in a while, you have a little controversy in the league. That's why your name is Goodell. I mean, that's the Dell part of Smash Dell.
Well, and we're going to get to that too. But in all seriousness, I mean, what happened shouldn't have happened, and owners got extremely mad, and there was the appearance of impropriety, and the appearance of impropriety itself is enough to bring an administration down. So, yep. And I have to say that I was the initial fire starter on that. And what happened is, and it wasn't anything, collusional. It wasn't, I honestly, did I communicate to the league right? No. And, I'll talk to that a little bit, but what I did is he was coming in, right? And he had Jefferson and he wanted Delvin. He wanted Delvin bad. And I says, well, I can work out a deal with you for Delvin and whatnot. He wasn't coming into the league right then. But then we had some mixed signals with Boomer and maybe wanting to relinquish the team and have him come in, but that really shouldn't have been mine and his decision. It should have been the league's, and it was wrong to not communicate that to the league. Very, very well not done. Bad on communication. I have a deficit at times in communicating so others know what actually is going on, because they did not know what was going on because they wrote what the hell is going on in this league. And so really what happened is I talked to Jagger. He said, yeah, that's cool. I thought it was kind of innocent at the time. I mean, the timing was not what I would call probably above board. I should have just said, let's talk when the season's over, but we're close. We're here. We're watching football. You want Delvin? Sure. I'll work out a deal, And then it kind of ratcheted up a little bit when, and then another trade went down with the current owner that he made, for Jefferson. And, that happened to be the new owner's favorite player. And now and so the owner doesn't get the team he wanted. And so anyway, it turned into a clusterfuck. It was bad. We had people just ready to just, take the IP address and white it out and not ever come here again.
The pitchforks, the people had their pitchforks and their lanterns.
And I have to say, I don't know where all the anger was. I didn't feel a lot of anger directed my way, but I say certainly some of it should have been, maybe if it was latent anger, because I basically was the one who was pressing for the trade and bringing in the owner early. And some owners chimed in and said, well, yeah, he said he was going to blow and then the new owner would come in. So there was some really opaque, cloudy, ambiguous. Yeah, but I didn't know. I mean, I said there's a new owner coming in and who he was, but we really didn't do it on a professional basis.
It wasn't publicly announced formally and whatnot, and that's fair enough. So I mean, just as an owner that was chiming in to try and get clarity, I was more confused than anything, and I wasn't the only one. So appreciate the upfront, and as human beings we make mistakes, but we have some solutions. I'll propose them to the league heading into next year about some clarity and help out with this and kind of how dynasty works. So we'll kind of let the dust settle. I think we've come to a mutual armistice for a while now, lack of a better term. And I think we're on the right path again to correcting kind of the confusion and the concern. And I think we can finish the season strong like we started it and get back on track.
Well, I think your main concern, as I read back over and over and over, and you must have been so frustrated because he kept writing over and over. People would say, well, what about my picks? If you have a future pick, you have to pay. You play to win the game, right?
Yes.
You have to pay for the pick.
There's only so many ways I could say the same sentence in English over.
You kept saying it. And I looked down and then he says it again. He's like, look, you can't trade capital that you haven't paid for.
Right.
And so Mort was like, do I got to pay too? And how much do I got to pay? And there's,
so if I get someone's pick, do I have to pay their entry fee?
So that was a lot of your deal, but a lot of the other stuff was why the fuck is he making a trade with the new owner and we don't even know the new owner, right? And we can't trade with the new owner. Very suspect, yep. But almost because of stupidity, stupidity and lack of awareness of protocol. And that's why I have a lot of the blame for the way it was handled, or it wouldn't have happened. Okay. Nothing was ill intent. I figured that Jagger would slide in. He'd get the team. He'd if he won the toilet bowl, Boomer said, we can split it or whatever, or whatever works. Get his feet wet. But technically, that's not how it works in Dynasty. You don't just jump in and take over a team unless there's some kind of dire, from what I understand.
Yep. Okay. And usually mid-season, like, and I've had it happen, and it's sad, but because sometimes you're in these leagues long enough, and we're not spring chickens. I mean, not all of us. And we had an owner die, and we had to figure out an answer because we never had that situation before. But yeah, normally if an owner is going to end whatever, they basically announce that at the end of the season, whatever, and it's not a big deal. Or if toward the end of the season, then you cease all. They can still do waiver wire stuff, but they can't do any trades, just to keep it from devolving and having any appearance of impropriety. So it's just something we haven't had to deal before. But yeah, it's sad. Like if you think about it, like if an owner dies, it's like, well, what do we do, and what about the funds and all that stuff? So
yeah,
it's stuff we'll wrap up and wire it tight for next year, and we'll get it on the table. And I am confident that we will be in good shape and come to some good terms, and we'll welcome Jaeger and thank Boomer for his contributions over the years, and then continue mission.
Yeah, and there was it really did rile some people up, and riled the people up who are not naive or ignorant people. These are people that get it. They get the rules, they get how things are done, and they were livid. And so I have to just say that I have a big part of that. I don't know who else is to blame. I suppose there's some blame to go around.
Yeah, we all own a piece of it. It's just,
not too many of us. I mean, there was some. I
should have brought it up sooner, and had I brought it up sooner, I let it go, and I knew better. I should have brought it up, long ago. But
protocol.
Yep, and that's fine.
Protocol is not my strong suit, but really the major announcement that I kind of sent out is really kind of a groundbreaker. Probably not going to break a lot of hearts, but I think I should probably step down as commissioner of the GBU league.
Uh-oh. So who's going to be commish?
Well, who the hell? Who the hell is?
No. No.
I don't know.
you got to have someone that at
I don't
least
know.
doesn't have their knuckles dragging on the ground.
I don't know. I've got issues. Okay. I've got a lot of issues. Okay. And I have strengths and I have deficits. And I have also got this podcast, and it seems like it's taking an enormous amount of time to to put out the product, which is less time for commissioning. And maybe this time. I mean, I've been here. What? I don't know who was the commissioner back in 2001. It would have been or 2000.
Oh my God, I don't know.
It would have been 20 years ago.
Who was it?
Because 2000 to 2001, it was at Leo's computer place.
Yep.
And I don't think when I waddled in there with my crutches, not knowing anybody, 2002, fresh off a 4-month jaunt in the hospital, that I was the commissioner. I can't imagine that I was the commissioner.
No, you weren't.
But I remember lying in the hospital bed, and my nephew helped me manage the team. So that wasn't a good team. He drafted for me, but I was just happy to be in it. But would it have been Grudge Inc.?
Oh my God, maybe it was.
I bet you it was Grudgy.
Wow, that may be it. Wow, that's been forever ago.
Well, and Mort's kind of been a knuckle dragging co-commish, kind of overbearing co-commish, but I don't, maybe it's time, I mean, what I've done is I've tried to run a tight ship. I've tried to bring in the contingent of owners that I have brought in are
pretty good.
They're very stout.
Pretty good.
I don't see anybody bailing. I mean,
it's pretty good.
I think they're vested in their teams right now. From what it seems to have a pretty good foundation right now. Okay. So, and we've tweaked the rules. We had to go through some of that, but I think with the way we do the auction, we get a first round. We implemented, hey, do a first round auction and then a snake. So it's not just a snake. So that livens up the game. No other league does that, and the way that we
got to remember, we made the big transition from keeper league redraft to dynasty, which is a monumental effort.
Well, we did that, and we basically moved out of CBS because they were lacking in their abilities to really be top shelf.
Oh my God, they're terrible.
And so
they were as bad as people want to complain about my fantasy league, and there's it's not perfect. It's the CBS was 10 times worse, and you paid more money for it. It was awful.
Yeah, I don't really see any real deficits with this league. It just, there's once in a while you got to do a ticket, but the things that we've done have been to mimic as best as possible. It's still fantasy, but to mimic the NFL. And that's, some leagues are like, let's do, why don't we, it's like, well, how does that, really? And that's fine. But I've always liked to mirror the NFL, and
you don't pull off 22 years without it being a success.
Not, and kind of, and keep the order, keep people in line, keep people paying, people setting their lineups over the years, setting kind of weeding out people that, are becoming chaff, that, that had happened every year or two. There was, one or so that would kind of fall by the wayside. And
but we've been pretty consistent. I mean, after 22 years, you think of how many
we've only lost, like 4.
I mean, it's been pretty minimal.
I mean, really, it has. Grudge and
the biggest change happened. The biggest change happened went to dynasty because the people didn't want to do dynasty left, and that's when we had the most transition. But we found owners pretty quick.
Yeah, I think when people are explained it, like even Eric said, he said, I was intimidated. Well, I was too. 5 years ago, I'm like, auctions, like, fuck that. Redraft is for me. It's fun. Auction has got to be bullshit. I don't get it. But like they said, if you do it, man, you're not going back to redraft.
Yeah. It took us a little bit, but we ground through it, and so kudos to you, Kamish, and I think focusing on the podcast, that's not a bad thing either. I think it's been highly successful.
Well, it's just that I think it's time. I don't know. I just am not at the top of my game for. I don't know. I think maybe it's time for some younger. More
but Mort really isn't young. Let's not give him any credit.
Well, I wasn't specifically like referencing Mortimus, but I don't know. It almost has to be more. I don't know. All I know is
it's something to think about.
I think based on the recent incidents of Saturday night and the ongoing drama, I should probably step down and resign.
You're going to have a congressional investigation?
Not sure what's going to happen, but I'm just trying to consider, when do I resign? I'm trying to figure out if it's immediately in disgrace or if I.
Well, you can't do it mid-season. You can't do a
playoffs
John Gruden.
Okay.
You can't do a John Gruden. Come on now. There is no John Grudens here.
How about when we do the title ceremony?
Oh, there you go.
Because what I'm going to
hand out the Lombardis.
Yeah, because I'm going to actually put that on the YouTube channel. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to give out the places, and we'll do it on the Zoom channel or on the YouTube, and then you'll see the trophy, and then we'll go ahead and that'll be it. I'll post those out, and then I'll just go and.
You have a picture of the sunset, and then you kind of wheeling out into the sunset.
I'll just you won't hear much from me again, but.
I don't believe that.
I'll be quiet as a mouse.
I don't believe that for a second.
In a church. I mean, I won't say boo. I won't go against anything. I won't be the contrarian.
Who do you think you're kidding, by the way?
You know, what's nice about the league, though, is we don't have a lot of shy people. People that have strong opinions are willing to pipe in.
That's not a bad thing.
No. If you hear someone say, I was born a contrarian, and to say why is that?
Yep.
And if you ask that question, if you ask somebody a question about how do you feel about, and they say why, and they answer it, and then you ask them why again, and why again, and pretty soon they go, because I can't stand the son of a bitch. Now. See, now you've got.
Now you get to the root. You're finding the root.
You're getting down to core principles and values. And when you're a salesman, you want to get down to the core principles and values as quickly as you can, because you got that other stuff, but you got to get down in there if you're going to go ahead and make a connection. So contrarian questions, that's called Socrates. We all remember him.
Well, but the other thing is called
questioning. Why?
But the business world calls it being the devil's advocate. It's actually valuable to have something like that, the devil's advocate.
A skeptic.
Yep. Because otherwise, did you ever watch a movie, World War Z, with Brad Pitt?
No.
Remember that one? The one where the zombie apocalypse happens and he's a UN guy going around the world. Well, the point of that was that in Israel, they always had one designated contrarian, one devil's advocate that would posit the least possible answer to a solution. And so that's how they got ahead of it, because they listened to the devil's advocate that said that the zombies were actually real, and that's why they were ahead of the curve. So sometimes you need that devil's advocate asking why.
You do. If you have a company, and you have meetings and you sit there and nobody brings up anything and goes against the grain or says, why do we do it that way? Well, because we've always done it that way. But is that the right way? I mean, why has anybody looked at that? And so I'm a contrarian in the company. Okay. Many times I've been
our league is full of owners that don't just take it. They ask why, which is awesome. That's great.
I am the voice of change. Okay. I like change, but unlike Mort used to call like daily in the off season. yeah, what do you think? If we were to have like,
That's awesome.
and he'd come up with, and I'm like listening, and I'm like, God, like what? And I'd like
probably 7 beers into it already.
Well, I don't know, but Mort's mind was going all the time. I got to give him credit.
Awesome. That's actually really
because
good.
he would come up with so many ideas, and some of them would meld into ideas that we could mold then and implement, into the league. So
it's basically what modern business calls it. It's the iterative process. Is you make continuous improvements over a period of time, and you end up with a pretty solid product. And I think that's where we're at. We're not perfect. We got some things we got to tighten up, but I think we're at a really fun state. I think this league is really fun.
Well, I think it's developed. Is this our third full year, right? Or second?
No, it's at least, I think it's our 4th year, isn't it?
No, Dynasty?
Yeah.
No. Can't be.
Gotta be. I know we've done at least 3.
Okay, this is our 3rd year after our inaugural season. So you get 2 full years after your inaugural. That's
then
3rd year, basically our 3rd year. And it's grown in those 2 years. Things have been implemented.
Actually, this is our 4th year because we did 2018 in Yahoo
Dynasty.
I'm pretty sure we did.
No.
And then we moved over to
we looked at Yahoo, but we had that whole snafu about League Safe and how Nick was going to collect the money, and then we did our draft. I can't remember how we did our draft. We did our draft, I think it's some kind of a chat room, I believe, or something.
Yeah, we did.
Actually, we did our first draft. We did it on, somebody had like a Grudge had some kind of he was with Microsoft, so we had some kind of a meetings app.
Yeah.
You'd call in, and then
I think it was the first iteration of Teams.
Yeah, so we would all sit there, and it's like we were all there for the first time on the Dynasty. That was, I think,
that was a long night. I think it was like 4 hours we did that draft.
Yeah.
It was, look, that was fun though.
It was fun. First year we had, it's like you could buy as many auctions as you want, spend the money. You want Gurley and Cook, buy them. Right?
Ooh, some blasts from the past.
So then we said, wait a minute, let's just leave it to one auction per guy, so that but anyway, the continuous improvements, I think, you can continuously improve, because if you're not improving, you're kind of going behind. And that same principle goes with your fantasy squad. And if you young guys are listening and saying that, you know what, I'm going to stand pat for this year, or you can't stand pat, because things are moving around you. Things are moving. People are changing. Chess pieces are moving all over. And if you stand pat, you're going backwards. If you're not continuously trying to improve, you're going backwards.
And just people should do this as an exercise, just to see the value on waivers and why waiver. Look at the players that have been picked up on waivers and the value they added to the team immediately, from Dearness Johnson to Hilliard, to even some of the quarterbacks like Mr. White, who had some big weeks. If you're not looking at the waiver wires and some of those individuals on there, you're going to fall behind. So it's cool. It's just good to see the totality of the league move forward.
Well, and then we're also going to look at the fab budget and see how that we're going to pull that up and go to the teams that I believe I'm down to 89 cents, but we're going to go ahead and look at who may have
coupon.
Who may have
5 cents off.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, God, could somebody lend me like 11 cents? I can get that Nick Akine. So, but no, it's been a good league. I think like a couple owners have said, this is the funnest league or the best league they've been in, because I'm only in one league, so I put all my efforts in this league, and I think it's probably the most serious league. Would you say? I mean, because I have other leagues that are serious, but it is the league where I think you have as much ownership involvement as any other league.
So if that's what you mean by serious, I mean, there's owners up and down the aisle that are involved.
So in most leagues, really, the extent of hearing from an owner would be like an email a couple times a year.
Yep.
And not really knowing who that person is. This
But
league,
the podcasts help. To be honest, the podcasts help.
Oh God, we didn't know anybody. Serious. I didn't know anybody. And it's a great social tool to bring it to the next level in the fantasy land, is to have a league specific podcast where owners can tune into one show and learn the stuff they need to know without flipping the dial. And I had one, Jager's brother said, it's pretty good. He said, it's better than some of the other crap I've been listening to, for fantasy. So a lot of good information. And and that's the thing. It can't be just league specific, but league specific with just enough salt and pepper in there and entertainment and quips just to make it interesting and entertaining for you to listen to and continue to make it better. So that's kind of my goal on that front, keep evolving the podcast and spend more efforts there. And
awesome. Let's get this show on the road, buddy.
All right. Well, here's the deal. We were going to effort a couple owners here. We had Half Chubb was coming in, but he said he's going to go ahead and wait until he seals the fate of his. He doesn't want to come in preemptively. So
he does. That is brilliant, because people don't understand the value in not angering the fantasy football gods. People want to dismiss, that's mystic nonsense. There's fantasy football gods, and if you anger them, at some point they will smite you. And so the very wise move on his part. I applaud him for the self-awareness of that.
Yeah, he said, I'll join next week once I know the fate of my season.
Good for him. Smart man.
Sent one out to Brides, but he never usually responds. And so Chubb asked if Brides is joining, and I said, you may as well ask me what way the wind is blowing, because he's a free spirit and he will come in on the wind, and when you see him, he's there. So that's the way John rolls.
Well, the number one thing I would ask Brides is, what in the hell is going on with Kelvin Ridley, and is he ever going to come back?
Well, I think he needs to come in and address that, and he certainly probably would. Also, I sent out a link to Nick if he wanted to come and chime in. He's doing some deals right now. He's giving his son a bath right now, then reading a book and putting him to bed. So
the man's got his priorities right. Good for him.
He'll be chiming in probably about 8. Sent one to Skoll too if he has time. And here's what I did. I just said, look, guys, if you got the link, go ahead and join the show. We'll let you in. You can just sit and listen, right? Sit and listen to the show. And then if you want to chime in, if you have a comment, if you have a quip, if you have something to say, you can just chime in, say your piece, whatever, and you can hang around for a while and you can just bug out.
I'm going to tell you the
honest it's an open floor plan here. So
the fun, my favorite guest statement of all time thus far is when we had our last guest say that he was in bed listening to his podcast and he started laughing and his wife was wondering what the hell was going on. That right there made my day.
Yeah, he said, I started chuckling and the bed started shaking. So he had to turn the show off. So he didn't know. So a couple of those got pretty dandy. But, and so we're going to try to bring more of that.
That's good stuff.
Because really we haven't had just a couple owners on, and we're already on week 14. So we got to bring on Chubb, Sledge. I'd like to bring on, Jagger. And then we've got Nick. Nick hasn't been on. He's usually on a couple times. Dale, I don't know if Dale's going to come on or not. Then we've got Jason. We've got Just Win Baby. We got Rags. We've had Meat on. So
good stuff.
I'd like to just get as many as we can on here. We've got some weeks left. So
all right, let's get the show going. What do we got? No, we want me to do the summary from want me to start with the summary from this week?
Yeah, go ahead and wrap that off because
All right,
we've got some
so
things going here.
we start off with Boomer versus Purple. Purple was arrogant and dismissed Boomer, which was foolish of him. He got smoked by the fantasy gods. Boomer crushed Purple 165, 127, and it would have been a consolation had Purple started, poorly, but I had 92% and Boomer had 90%. So both owners did a good job maximizing their value. Just you got crushed. And Crazy Horse, he took vengeance on the Smashing Pumpkinheads. Smashing Pumpkinheads only had 52% and scored 52 points, which is kind of funny. He had 52 points at 52%. But Crazy Horse had 90% and came back with a vengeance with 166. Tom Brady had another career night. Ragnar's Revenge. He continued his winning ways. Javonte Williams was unleashed. He is the real deal. When Melvin Gordon's on the bench, Javonte Williams will run wild. And George Kittle had a career night, putting up 45 points as a top. And that won't continue out.
Captain.
Curtains, obviously, team has been he's looking for the future. He scored Laces Out versus CC Fall Guy. Laces Out had vengeance on his mind, 140 to 118. And CC Fall Guy, there was little he could do. He had 82% and Laces Out had 94%. Even at full capacity, CC Fall Guy probably didn't have much in the tank to beat Laces Out. Just Win Baby, just did not win. Half Chubb went to full Chubb. He went 138 over 106, and Half Chubb did a good job. 76% of the points versus Just Win Baby, 87% of the points. Half Chubb, Antonio Gates looks like he's healed. He put up 24 points. Cooper Kupp did his thing, and then Tyler Lockett showed up and then expected to disappear in about next 4 weeks. So that sums up the week's total scores, and it kind of set things for the week. I think we're pretty close to understanding the playoff picture. Other than there's a few, the Minnesota Iron Range, every team is 6-7. So that's a total toss-up. What's going to happen this week? Will Ragnar's Revenge pull the impossible out and win the division? Will Half Chubb take it? That one, we talked about this all year. We predicted it. It was going to be a toss-up, and really it's down to that. I think Ragnar's Revenge is on his last leg, though. He can't be lucky forever.
Well, if Rags happens to win, Half Chubb doesn't feel very good against Laces. But if he does pull it out at 7-7 and is tied with Rags, then somehow Rags will then win the division because he's got.
It'll be a miracle.
Yeah, Rags has to lose, and Half Chubb has to win. And if Just Baby wins, then Chubb's got the deal. So who does Just Baby play this week?
Just Win Baby is he's
they're over there. They're out of town this week, aren't they? They're
what's that?
They're out of town over at Boomer Town.
Yeah. They're So that one's going to be a close one, right?
Yeah.
Laces Out against Half Chubb. Well, again, Half Chubb's been scoring, and then if Rags can take down CC Fall Guy, Javonte Williams is a key. Is Melvin Gordon back in a steal carries, or is Javonte Williams going to run like a wild man? That totally dictates what Rags will do. And Hunter Renfrow, out of nowhere for Rags, has become Wes Welker. He is a PPR machine and has risen to the occasion. And what a great draft pick by Ragnar's Revenge. He drafted him in like the 3rd or 4th round a couple years ago and has held on to him. And boy, has that paid off.
Well, boy, for most of the year, he's been really down there in the cellar for points outside of a few weeks, but he happened to cobble together wins going against teams that put up really bad weeks. And Chubb, which should have kind of run away with that, had some bad weeks because his backs didn't show up.
That's right.
They all didn't come together. A receiver craps out, and there you have it. Or Lamar has a bad week, but a couple of those weeks he could have easily had it. He could have had it last week before, had anybody played. And so his fortunes could have easily been that of what is he, 6 and 7? Could have been 8 and 5 or whatever the thing is. But
absolutely.
And so Rags is going to go against Fall Guy. So I don't know how that's going to turn out, but it seems
that's a toss-up. That's a tough one.
And it almost seems like Rags is headed for the title. I don't know.
It's frightening, but it may be true. But his players are. Hunter Renfrow is playing out of his mind, and George Kittle is healthy. And now he's getting. Guess who he's getting back? Julio Jones, of all people. So it's not out of the question. We doubted him all year, but he's been starting to rise.
Yeah, his Chubb's receivers got to step up to the plate too.
That's right.
He came in. He's like the fourth scoring guy. He's actually rated. Still with that losing record, he's still rated number 4 on the GBU rankings. Number 4, only behind Skoll, Laces Out, and Crazy. So, not sure what's going on there. But,
I don't believe that.
But Crazy, Laces Out, Skoll, half Chubb purple smash, and then just win CC and the rest of them. But
when half Chubb beats me in points, he can come talk to me. But I still have him by 30 points. So
yeah, all right. So we've got that. We're going to get into a couple of clips that I'm going to read here that pertain to the game. We had a Tommy Kramer tweet moment, shout out, calling out old man Zimmer, or not Zimmer, but Kirk, for his lackadaisical, smiling, happy church kid attitude after that devastating loss. He said, for the love of God, he said, I can see shaking hands, but smiling and laughing for the love of the game. 2-minute Tommy then fell off his bar stool.
Well, he probably had a couple.
What else did
he
they
probably
call
had a couple?
Tommy?
No,
because Tommy was usually, drunk when he showed up to the stadium.
Oh, for sure.
Many of the days. So
he probably had a couple drinks before he tweeted. Put it that way.
Yeah. And there's a clip we're going to have from the Lions locker room, actually, on there with Dan Campbell and friends. And then we've got a clip that you're going to hear. Actually, I'm going to read a clip about, it's a beautiful story written about the meltdown, and one about the similarities between Denny Green losing to the Lions, being down so far, coming back, and then losing in 2001, then being fired before the last game of the season, which brought on the Mike Tice hire. And so that 20-year meltdown is this year, and we did now have the same deal. They were down 20-7 or whatever it was, come back and lose it again. So and what's pathetic is some of the interviews that you'll see, or some of the press conference clips, are some of the they're actually funny. They're funny on their own, but I kind of made them a little funnier, and by doing some dubbing. But some of Kirk's comments and some of Zim's comments are just, they're absolutely ludicrous. Zim, I've been watching him, and these press conferences, he's almost kind of like bouncing in and saying, okay, hey, we got a big game against Pittsburgh. I mean, he's up, he's energized, he's not as grumpy. Is it because he knows that is he modest? Let me ask you, modest because he knows that he doesn't have any grumpiness to stand on?
No, I want you to do something for me. All right. Look up Mike Zimmerman's girlfriend.
Okay.
And then you tell me why he's happy. I think that's pretty clear. He's gonna make millions of dollars, never win any championship or anything like that, and then that's his girlfriend. Wouldn't you be happy? I think you would.
It just seems that he's more fresh with the he's not as grumpy.
So
he's not as okay. Is that it, her?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
That's her.
Huh.
So if you were that age, would you really care about what anyone said about you, about anything? Probably not.
So right,
he's got the
right
girlfriend,
there.
he's got the money. He doesn't have a care in the world. Why should he be frustrated? Who cares?
But what's the deal? What's the deal behind that? I mean, when you look at this, what gives? I mean, he's got this paunch. It's over when he takes his pants off, and maybe even his underwear. That flap, it goes down. He's got one of those deals that flaps over. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, but what he has,
you can
is
see
a big
it on the
bank account
sideline.
with a lot
I
of
can see
zeros.
it on the sideline. I mean, is this Zimmer here?
So if all the people listening want to find out, if they're not aware of this, just Google Mike Zimmer girlfriend, and then you'll understand why he's happy, why he doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn. Why should he?
Is this her here?
The blonde? You got the blonde?
Wait a minute. All I saw was like, holy, what?
Model Katarina McKinton.
Wow.
Yep. So that is why he's bouncy and smiley and carefree, because he doesn't give a damn. Whatever, I lost. I got millions of dollars and I'm going to retire with that chick. Good to go.
Well,
so you're correct. He doesn't have a care in the world.
And I also heard they have this, I think it's Phil Gunther, a Vikings defensive coordinator guy. They have him on the radio, and Andre Patterson. They had Andre Patterson on yesterday, who's the coordinator. Absolutely worthless what was kind of coming out of his mouth. Yeah, we should be, guys should have been on
nonsense.
the line.
Pure nonsense.
Should have been on the line. Okay, why? Nobody asked him, why did you have 8 men back, halfway back in the end zone, and no pressure? Because when you pressured Goff, clearly he sucked. He sucked.
Yep.
So he drives all the way down 70 yards, right?
Yep.
It left the time on the clock because they didn't wind down the clock on the 2-minute warning, right? They were going to do a quick snap play instead of winding the clock down. And Kirk had a kind of a sheepish, very intelligent, wordy explanation about certainly, we could have let the time, wind down to the next stop, which I think would have been the 2-minute clock. And then, certainly was a time where we could have run that play again after the stop. Yeah, you can run a quick snap play before or after a timeout. So once again, and not keeping guys in bounds. I mean, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but
here is what the saving grace, hearkening back to last week's podcast. At least Cousins didn't line up under the guard.
He didn't line under the guard.
So we had the thumb. The thumb was good to go.
Well, the thumb was good to go, but still, he took a question yesterday about the short week and how to prepare. And the set they brought up centers. Okay. Yeah, they waded right into the centers. You've had a number of different centers. You've had Garrett Bradbury, you've had Cole, now back to centers. And some of the things that he says works right into man muffin. You're going to hear the clip. You can't make it up.
We were almost pathetic, just like prophets. almost
Yeah.
like, prophetic. And so our podcast last week was cutting edge. It was bleeding edge.
And it still hasn't come out about the change about the two centers, but it might have something to do with Cole's wife and that seamed hole that she made that he was ramming his finger up. I don't know if that had something to do with it, but they say that the anal tear has healed enough. So they're going to
So he's
try
gonna be
it.
back.
Well, they're going to try a little bit different. There's a one finger manicure clip in there where it comes to lining up with Bradbury there. So you're going to do a lot more of the shotgun snaps. But I have to, some of the things coming up here. Okay. Number 10
I love it.
upset of all time. How many games have been played probably in the NFL since 1950? Like 10,000,
Oh,
20,000,
Yeah, I mean,
50,000 maybe?
you figure 16 games a week, and then you have, depending on the year, you have 15 weeks, so you have 160 games
Times 50 and
probably 300 games a year. So, and then how many? 50 years.
yeah.
So it's 3,000. It's 15,000.
Right. And if you have 50, what are the odds that you are the team that was involved in the number 10 upset of all time out of all of those games?
Well, if you're the Vikings, it's 100% chance.
I happen to have that clip that we're going to kind of go into on a separate show. Another little clip here. Jack Buck. Remember Jack Buck? Remember Jack Buck?
Yep.
Joe Buck's dad. Jack Buck and Hank Stram did Monday Night Football for 20 years on the radio cast, and did a phenomenal job. There's a clip we're going to put in there when we run some of that. It's like Jack Buck, Aikman runs out, does a run, and Buck says, Aikman's not the best runner. Is he, Hank? And Hank said, well, he's got the step. He said he's got deceptive speed. He's a lot slower than he looks. We're going to do Okoye. We're going to get into that 65 toss power trap.
Nice.
We're going to get into here the Dantzler on the sidelines. Okay. Dantzler. Okay. On that sideline play, he messed up on the sideline play. And then he also messed up down, of course, on the goal line. And I found a clip last year where he was playing the Seattle Seahawks, 4th and 10. DK Metcalf comes down the field, 20 yards down the field. Dantzler gets lost. First down would have been the game. The game on the line, season was on the line. What'd they do then? Well, I remember they got down to like the 15-yard line. And guess what? Dantzler is once again on DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf started on the left and ran in toward a slant on the end zone. Dantzler decides to chip this guy coming at him and then turn around and follow the guy, leaving DK open, which he completed the pass. And Dantzler, they won the game on the last play of the game, lost the season, lost the playoffs because of a throw and catch walk-off touchdown by Russell Wilson. So I don't know if Dantzler is really going to get a lot of love. Andre Patterson was on PA and he said, well, we played the tape, we sat down and then we played the tape and we called him out, we called him out on it and stuff. So he knows what he's supposed to do, but come on, he doesn't know what he's supposed to do. He's not there. Why is he in there? And there's a number of different things that need to be mitigated there. But
here's what's going to happen to the Vikings. Zimmer's going to get fired. The general manager's going to get fired. He's had more than chances. Kirk Cousins should be traded, and hopefully he will be traded. And then we're going to draft. If we're lucky, we're going to get a top 10 draft pick, and we're going to draft a franchise QB. First in our generation.
Well, we've got Kellen Mond.
No.
He is the up and comer.
No. No. I was at
He's
the
an athletic
preseason games. I was
quarterback
at
that
the
could get it
preseason
done.
games. He is not the future franchise quarterback. Not
You
not
can't
not
go
not.
to one game.
No. 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 Kellen Mond is not our future.
You don't think he's the guy? Huh?
He's a backup at best.
Hmm.
So do we have our top 10s?
Well, first I got to read this about the Lions. Okay, this
Oh,
came,
all right.
came from
Let's
Sports
roll, baby.
Illustrated. Two things can be true about Sunday's stunning loss to the Lions. The first is that it's somewhat unbelievable after a season spent stomaching close, heartbreaking losses, alternated by the occasional demoralizing beatdown, that the Lions still had enough emotional equity remaining to call together a last-second touchdown drive to beat the second-best team in their division 11 games into a winless season. We have countless teams fall off the rails, implode, and once the season goes south, fail to come away with a victory at all. Detroit, to the team's credit, has been a potential landmine for each opponent it's faced. The second is that it's somewhat unbelievable, after having momentary possession of the 7th seed gifted to them through rampant inconsistency at the bottom of the NFC, that the Vikings would continue an early season trend of playing down to their opponents and lose a game that may ultimately signal the closing of an era in Minnesota, a team that may not need to make the playoffs, but have some success in the postseason to have a chance of remaining intact. Dan Campbell's first victory as a head coach has far more reaching consequences than some memeable benchmark for an unanimated sideline presence who promised coming into the league to biting kneecaps and ended up losing 10 of his first 11 games. While there was no pressure on him to succeed this season, few coaches can survive optics of a winless year. Campbell was hurtling toward that dubious feat at great speed, but miraculously followed 2 straight gutting losses by combined 5 points, one of the most efficient game-winning drives of the season against who? Without timeouts, okay? Without timeouts, without having converted a third down all game. Jared Goff threaded a handful of balls into a soft, largely pressureless defense with a barely professional grade receiving core to win the game. Why pressureless and why soft? Mike Zimmer's most brutal loss of the season could also have some consequences. The defeat dropped their playoff chances below -10. Zimmer had a timeout remaining and had an opportunity to talk to all of his defensive players before that fatal final snap. Indeed, he chose to not have the timeout to talk, but just go ahead and forget he had a timeout or something. As a defensive coach, it must be an incredibly difficult moment to explain to anyone who wasn't in those small huddles. Here is a punchless offense, simply trying to get creative enough to find space for its best pass-catching weapon, TJ Hawkinson. Instead, the Lions sat one of their receivers just below the perimeter and sniped a well-timed pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown before both of defenders could converge on the ball. While we're not suggesting Zimmer should be fired or saying he will, it's a stinging moment before the end of a bitter season. They continued to enjoy, of course, above average quarterback play. They have a pretty good offensive line and arguably the best receiving tandem in the league. Each week is dotted with incredible ballet performances from Adam Thielen and JJ, most of which have gone to waste, juxtaposed against an oft-injured and talent-depleted defense that in the end of the season will probably finish somewhere near the middle or bottom. At what point are you forced to accept that the team is just not historically unlucky, the byproduct of famous missed field goals and poorly bounced balls? At what point do you have to accept that the record reflects a bit of reality and wonder why this team isn't better than it currently is? This is especially true given the absolute thin ruin at the bottom of the year. Just one more here. Since the Minnesota Miracle, the Vikings have been back to the playoff once in 2019. That run came with a stunning overtime victory over the powerhouse Saints, was followed by a flattening at the hands of the eventual conference champion 49ers, a moment that seems to tidily sum up the last few years. Some great, some not so great, seasons that sometimes last a little bit longer than they should, but not as long enough to remember. Rarely can we draw so much from a game that was shoved into the NFL's back corner amid a weekend of premier matchups. And while the Lions will not make their ultimate determination of the Campbell era based on this Vikings game, there were so many moments that will resonate. There was the way Jared Goff sprinted off the field and bro hugged his coach like Campbell was the first human he'd ever seen after isolation on a desert island. There was the dog pile on St. Brown as he tried to make it to the sideline. And on the Viking sideline, there was that familiar bewilderment. Players scattered, eyes and mouths agape, trying to figure out how it happened this time. So, I mean, I really don't have
Merry
much
Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But here's what I will say. I've said it before. Now's the time for people talk about tanking. Now's the time for the Vikings to lose every single game for the rest of the season. They should get a top 10 pick and then get a real franchise quarterback. The time has come for them to stop being like a middling team. Just go all in, lose your rest of your games. Zimmer can go bang his girlfriend and, live life happy. And let's get a real franchise quarterback that's young, that's Pat Mahomes like, and that's someone that can, drive us for a decade.
Well, I think some of the fire on Zimmer came in his press conference that the way he kind of answered the deal, he kind of answered the loss and about the questions and, we weren't covering that well. And, he said,
here's the deal.
The guys,
tell me the words Zimmer can say that can make up for that pathetic display.
Well, here's what he said. He said, I told the guys, you play all those close games, right? You win some games, you lose some games. That's just the way the NFL is. So that is like not what you're going to want to say. You play some close ones, you lose some close ones. That's just the way the NFL is. I don't think Hank Stram or Bud Grant or the Green Bay guy, Vince Lombardi.
I
don't think his comments were like that. I mean,
here's the deal. You play close games against good teams. You don't play close games against the Lions, right? You don't play close games against the Lions. That's the problem.
But there's no reason. There's no reason for those continual meltdowns at the end. I've been going back to the late 60s.
You want a stat that'll floor you?
I've got a stat as well.
The Vikings are the only team in the NFL to lead by at least 6 points in every game.
Wow.
They're the only team in the NFL to lead every game by at least 6 points.
Well, here's another stat, kind of for the segment, stat of the day. Here comes the stat of the day. And it's Zimmer and Kirk. I believe the stat is it's either 1 or 0-26-1 when they are have a fourth quarter deficit. 0-26-1 with a fourth quarter deficit.
Kirk Cousins can't win.
0-26-1.
Kirk Cousins is not a winner. He's a stat collector. So that is what it is. And that's why I said trade Kirk Cousins and then, draft a quarterback, lose the rest of the games. And then let's go. Let's be a real franchise team. So that's my take on it.
Let's go ahead and get into these big days. And now we've
All
got
right,
some scoring coming in here. We got some big days. We got Tom coming in back at number 1. number 37 points there. Kyler Murray at 33, Herbert at 33, 3 quarterbacks at 33. Not exactly a circus animal type
But they're
atmosphere.
all back healthy.
Yeah, we've got
Tom Brady
Taysom
had a
28,
slump.
Cuzbuzz at 28, Stafford at 28. So,
Now,
know,
Taysom Hill is the story here because he injured his hand early and he did not get his points from throwing the ball.
101
He got his
yards
points
rushing.
from running all over the place.
Yeah, like a madman.
Yep.
Like a madman.
He was a running back that was in the quarterback position. That will not continue. Depending on how his hand turns out, he may or may not start next week.
Well, he's had it kind of splintered and he is likely to play. So that means that Simeon.
But if you watch the game, the ball was coming out erratic because of his splint. So can he learn to throw with that on? Maybe.
I don't think they're going to throw very long passes.
Yep. I agree.
So if it's more running, so a good starter there that I dropped. I've got, soon I will have 8 quarterbacks and 0 I can start on Sunday. 0 because of buys, because of whatever. Okay. So looking for a quarterback. I don't have anybody to play meat with. I might go in to the meat game, just playing Deshaun Watson, seeing he can pull it out for me. Get his first win of the season by not playing a quarterback. So
get a massage first from Deshaun.
Yeah, I really don't have. There's only one quarterback there that I can trade for. I mean, I thought of Minshew. Well, he's on a bye. Tua, he's on a bye. I mean, really, what it's come down to, and it's really sad. Well, I thought the bottom of the barrel was Goff. Do I have to come down to Goff? Do I have to get Goff?
You might have to.
And Laces said Austin Davis is starting this weekend.
No, you go Goff before.
And I said,
nope.
Is that what my squad has come to? Is starting Austin Davis to get into the playoffs?
No. You put Goff in.
I don't know how I cobbled together 6 quarterbacks without one even be able to. I used to be better than that. I don't know. Things just kind of, the wheels came off this year on the quarterback spot, but we only have one running back. Doesn't make
Derek Carr look so bad, does it?
No. Nope, it doesn't.
But I think the running back position was pretty good though.
Carr is just outside the top 10, but but anyway, Javonte Williams, we got 35 points.
Coming out party.
One running back, that 30, the rest of them at 26, but Javonte Williams.
Coming out party.
I haven't said boo about him just because, again, it's Jonathan Taylor. When I said I could have had Jonathan Taylor's still the best running back. I didn't want to talk about him. I know. I didn't want to talk about him because I missed out on him. And he's number 1. But Javonte next year is going to be easily 1AA.
Yep. He's a top 5 running back next year.
Yeah, Javonte for sure.
So if you have any dynasty leagues, go try and get him because Melvin Gordon's coming back. Melvin Gordon will steal touches because the coach is insane. Javonte Williams, if you watch him run, he is the new Derrick Henry.
Javonte Williams is a beast and leads the world in broken tackles. So
it's almost unbelievable. It's like watching, if you remember that playoff game where beast mode against New Orleans in Seattle, Marshawn Lynch, and he had that run. That's like Javonte Williams, and almost every time he touches the ball, he's just running people down. It is amazing to watch him. The kid is going to be a superstar as long as he doesn't have like an ACL turning line. He's going to be a superstar for years to come. So go grab him everywhere.
Yeah, he's like a Earl Campbell type back. He is just a bruiser, and he may catch a pass or two. But I don't know if Melvin's coming back next year or not, but he may. I don't think.
No, Melvin will probably be gone.
Yeah, so it's his show. Monty has got 26 there, not bad. Taylor coming in with 29. Elijah Mitchell against the Vikings. No, not the Vikings. Or Sony Michel. And then Jacobs. So that really rounds up anybody that was of any note. So nothing strange there. Jacobs arrow up with the broken ankle for Drake. So much more carries there. Jefferson.
So good job to
Stoll,
because he sniped him for me, but I think I'm still going to turn out okay with Davante Adams. So good trade, win-win.
Not with the looks, with what's the news that's coming out of the Elijah Moore and the Elijah Mitchell camps today. So you might be a little, I don't know, a little skittish coming into that, both, as questionable. So, I think the thing to remember here is Justin Jefferson put up a 40-point game. Two of the last three.
As soon as Adam
40-point
Thielen
games.
went out. Yep. As soon as Adam Thielen went out, it was it was Osborne did a little bit. He did well, but it was a Justin Jefferson show. And I think if Adam Thielen is out on Thursday, which is probably going to be the case.
Yeah, he's out.
Jefferson is going to be the only guy besides Tyler Conklin.
Yeah. And Osborne will try to contribute, but but Jefferson clearly, probably in many lists that I've seen across, I've seen Justin Jefferson ranked as the number one dynasty receiver as far as startup leagues go. Not on all lists, but a receiver that
he's a top 3 in every list.
You're not going to replace him with the number one pick.
Nope. Because
he's not going to come out next year. I don't think there's a Justin Jefferson that's going to come out and catch more passes for more yards than Randy Moss did his rookie year. Right?
Yep.
So
totally
probably an asset you want to look at keeping. Godwin had a 15 catch day. Huge day. My own Deontay 35. I could have gotten 70 just from those two guys. I probably would have beat Mort. And then we got this Higgins. And here's the deal.
That's 2 weeks in a row for Higgins.
The guy that was supposed to step up was supposed to be
Jamar Chase.
Yeah, T. Higgins. T. Higgins came up. He's a beast. And so I don't know if that's trend or mirage, but
it's 2 weeks in a row. But the problem is Higgins has tweaked his ankle. So if he's not 100%, you're looking to look at a little more Tyler Boyd and a little more Jamar Chase. Not to say Higgins won't be involved, but you got to think about it. Is Higgins' injury against the 49ers? The 49ers are gonna, pretty decent defense, but that you got to watch that tweak of the ankle because it may inhibit him.
Yep, and then we got Russell Gage coming in at 26 for the Falcons.
Now that's the oddball. The other two next ones, Russell Gage and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Well, Gage hasn't had a couple good games, so I don't know, but Amon-Ra, 12 targets, 10 catches, his first touchdown, ravaged the ferocious secondary.
And with both of those wide
Vikings,
receivers,
wide open.
Here's the key.
Wide open.
Here's the key. There's no one else there. Kelvin Ridley's gone.
Josh Reynolds.
Come on. Come on.
Hey, I looked at a waiver claim almost if I had $1.
Yeah, that's fine. Josh Reynolds has been in the league long enough. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Gage are opportunists because there's no one else there to catch the damn ball. And so they're going to take advantage of targets. They're going to get 10 targets each for the rest of the year.
And Quez Watkins is out. Quintez Cephas is out. So that takes another one off. So it's Hawkinson and Swift and Amon-Ra probably. So
10 targets each for Russell Gage and Amon-Ra St. Brown, not because they're the best receivers in the league, because they're getting the most chances to catch the damn ball.
Yeah. So he had a chubby when he picked them, and I said, it's going to be years, but who knows in Detroit there.
Legit.
Some of the number one hot takes. New England remains the number one seed. How did it happen when nobody talked about them? Now Ravens, Browns.
Here's the difference. When you have the best coach of all time in the history of the NFL, You can do it. Best coach of all time ever,
Broncos.
hands down. Period. Belichick's the best coach ever, and that's the difference.
And Mac Jones looks like he looks like Brady.
Yeah, but he didn't have to throw
High
3 times.
percentage throws, very high percentage passer, very cerebral, very surgical.
Yep.
That's all you need there.
But then when you have a winter game like happened on Monday night, you have the running backs and the offensive lines and the scheme to just run the opponent over.
Yeah.
Run them over.
Yeah. Ramondre would have looked good backing up Cook and Madison, but they chose somebody named Kene Nwangu. They passed over another good back too, but here's the thing. Is it time to trade Lamar? What's going on?
That has been a weird situation.
What is the metric there?
To me, the offensive line is not playing well. And why is it not playing well? Because they don't have the running backs. We talked about this time and again. There are 4 to 5 running backs deep now in terms of their depth. They've picked people up off the street. And why they don't play Javonte Williams beyond me. But regardless, when they don't have that running game, when they don't have Dobbins, when they don't have Edwards, they are not as effective. And as a result, they're relying on Lamar Jackson passing and they are going against what their identity. And as a result, Lamar Jackson is struggling. Lamar Jackson's a better run back right now than passer. Now, if they can get their run game going and start playing well with that, then they can get back to their identity. So we'll see. Lamar Jackson is obviously fantasy production, top 7, top 6 quarterback. So no time to panic. Let it play out. Lamar Jackson, when he doesn't get with his arm, he gets with his legs. So continue on with him. He's still a legitimate starter. But
isn't the running back there? Is that Devante Freeman?
That's what I'm saying. They're down to Devante Freeman.
I saw a Devante Freeman league winner clip.
Yeah, well,
Devante Freeman.
I'm not sure about that, but so when you're down to Devante Freeman, you're 4 to 5 deep.
Is he putting up some RB1 numbers?
RB2.
I don't see him on this list here, but
no. He's not putting up RB1 numbers. So hold the craziness. 2.
Okay.
RB20, RB21.
Okay. Going back to Detroit here, Godwin Ikwabuike. Now, Jamal Williams got the start. And here's what's concerning. Godwin Ikwabuike ran 24 routes to Jamal Williams 12 when Jamal Williams came out and had like 12 targets and 10 catches the first game. So
here's the deal.
So
Deandre Swift is going to come back.
Godwin threw 36, or there was 36 routes. These running backs are running 36 routes. That's half the plays.
Here's what I'll tell you. Jamal Williams had 17 carries for 70 yards. 17 touches.
Not bad.
And DeAndre Swift had a shoulder injury, and so he's going to be back sooner rather than later.
Well, not
so I wouldn't go too far with that.
All right. Maybe a deep stash. I know the Bride squad.
Yeah, if you want to pick someone up as a handcuff, great. If you have DeAndre Swift
squad, I heard something about that. Is KJ Osborne a starter on Thursday?
If you need a wide receiver 3, yes. He's a starter. It's always, but he's a wide receiver 3. So he's 24 through 36. So if you don't have someone, better, he's a legit starter on Thursday if you're hurting. And with all the bye weeks, gotta look at bye weeks. You have Patriots bye week. You have Indianapolis bye week. You have Philadelphia bye week. You have Miami bye week. So some people may be down to that. So yeah, he's a wide receiver 3.
A lot of talent there. Now, I got a tweet yesterday that said, kind of liking my man, Mr. Van Jefferson. And I said, hey, look, a week ago, he was the one of the guys that said, look, arrow is going up on Van Jefferson. What happens now? what has happened since then is Van Jefferson has passed OBJ. He's running more routes. He's on the field for more plays, more percentage of the plays. He's getting more targets, and he's doing more with them. And although he was not, an RB or a wide receiver one, an alpha or anything coming out of college, he could catch. He had decent speed. He ran good routes, and he's like 10 years younger than OBJ. Okay. So it's going to be really tough to OBJ get back up into that wide receiver 3 range there to get any love. I don't know.
But here's the deal.
Seems to have
Cooper
had
Kupp
a good.
is the man. Cooper Kupp is one, right? By far. And so Van Jefferson is kind of like the modern version of Deshaun Jackson. Van Jefferson will catch 4 balls for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns, something crazy like that. But he's not a high volume wide receiver.
No.
Big play, big
high
playability.
high ceiling flex.
Exactly. Yep.
Sony Michel, starter in place of Henderson, did well. I think they're only back over 100 yards this year in the Rams stadium there. And I'm not sure what D Henderson's fate is, but I think Lace has picked up Sony Michel, and he actually could start this week.
Yeah, Henderson will come back. So Henderson will be the clear starter. It all depends on health. So watch the health. Michelle obviously will play, but he's not as dynamic. Henderson is much more dynamic than Michelle. Michelle's there as a steady hand veteran so that he can run the ball. But if Henderson is healthy, he's the number one.
Sony Michel is not, he's not a long-term play because Cam Akers is coming back. You're still going to have Henderson. So I'm not sure.
Yep. So watch the next game or two. Michelle may be a play for one more game, but Henderson is the long-term play for this year. And obviously Cam Akers heading into next year.
Maybe a play in a DFS.
Yes.
J-Rob is still dealing with that foot heel thing. And so
that's the problem.
He did have some pretty good volume. What's concerning is J-Rob's load was equal with Carlos Hyde's. So that goes back to like week 1 and 2.
Yeah, but
after
that's
week 2,
related.
it was 75-25. So you're talking about a heel. I think he will go into the off season and have to address that. So I think it's injury related. It's not because of production. Injury related. Yeah. I don't think that he's going to help anybody if Chubb was to make it in. I don't think he's going to be the man that's going to push him up for a title. I just think he's running back 18 or something or 19, he should be up there at 10, with 12 touchdowns, but it's just not his year.
Yeah. I mean, if
wasn't his year.
If James Robinson gets healthy enough so that he can give you 75 yards and a touchdown running back 2, then he's legit. And I don't think he's that far off. The real problem is that offense. Trevor Lawrence just has not been good. But you know who has made a sighting? You remember a wide receiver that was drafted by the Vikings in the first round about, 6 years ago?
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Laquan,
$5.01 on the waiver wire.
Laquan Treadwell.
Because he had the waiver funds, he wanted to spend that much, or did he really think that there was stiff competition for Laquan this week off the wire?
Laquan Treadwell just might be coming, just like Cordero Patterson took 7 years to come to fruition.
Late
Laquan
signing.
Treadwell might be coming to play.
Late signing with the Boomer Nation squad. So
good pickup, good play.
Well, he got the most routes, the most targets, the most catches there. But
shocking.
Trevor Lawrence likes him the most. Laquan likes him the most, but
Marvin Jones.
I don't know.
Lavicia Chenault. And then in comes Laquan Treadwell out of nowhere. I'm stunned by it. I can't believe it, but it is what it is.
Well, we got to kind of see, he's at
I know.
games
I get it. I'm just shocked by that.
All right. Jacobs RB1, arrow up, huge volume coming. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be RB1, hopefully all the way. Drake is out, broke his ankle. Don't know what his future is next year. Didn't really put up a very good year this year. Failed to be the dominant productive back that he was in Arizona when he kept Chase Edmonds to just a handful of sprinkled touches in and out the game. Much better back than he was here in Oakland town. But Drake's really a non-factor and really shouldn't be on the roster. Now let's look at Seattle. Seattle is done, right? But Seattle now has become angry and they want to play the spoiler.
Yep.
So look for those guys to come in and do whatever the hell they can to upset the balance of power for the final two.
Here's a couple names for you. Rashad Penny, Travis Homer. Again, deep bench players that if you have no one else, but Rashad Penny and Travis Homer may get some playing time and may be legit.
Go ahead and cue that timestamp there. Arizona Cardinals. Okay, best team in the AFC by record. Third team in NFL history to win 7 straight road games by double digits in a single season. Okay, 70 years, 42,000 games. Only 2 other teams have won 7 straight on the road and beaten their teams by double digits. So,
and they've done it with both of their quarterbacks, Colt McCoy and Kyler Murray.
I don't think you can discount the Cardinals, even though Hopkins is hobbled and, you know, Kirk's up and down.
Hopkins is getting healthy. Hopkins is coming back. James Conner from the dead has been a top 10 running back. Can't discount it.
Yeah, he got a fair number. He didn't get any catches, but he did have like 24 runs for 90 yards or something.
From the dead.
So, yeah.
And then the Pats win, and we talked about that.
Yeah, I was going to look at the injuries. We should probably breeze through.
Hit the injuries.
Delvin actually was at practice today, limited, so he's likely not to play, but it's good news that he indeed did have his pads on. Nobody was hitting him, but he was practicing, trending for week 15 playoffs. And I'm going to be the number 6 seed going against either Laces or somebody.
Probably me.
Laces or you. I'm not sure. I think
it depends. We'll see how it shakes out.
I don't think it'll be Laces because you have a top 2 team, but top 2 get the bye, right?
Yep.
So it'll be Crazy and either Skull or Laces, right? Do you have a shot at number? Well, you don't have it. You don't have a shot at 2, especially in the playoffs with your roster.
I can't because I'm not a division winner. So it'll be Skull or Laces, one of those 2, and then Ragnar's Revenge. So it'll be me and you playing against either Skull, Laces, or Ragnar's Revenge. One of those 3. And if I face Ragnar's Revenge, I better crush him.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to take a look at Zimmer's wife again here, but let's take a look at this situation here now. Now let's take a look at the purple roster. Now, last week,
let's do the injuries here. Let's finish the injuries. I'll hit the purple roster.
All right. We got Logan Thomas tore his ACL completely out.
What a terrible thing.
In fact, it was outside of the padding, and it was like, you ever seen those
it's like a compound fracture.
Well, have you ever seen those very large like conchs? They're big shells, and then they have their foot thing that sticks out, real kind of stiff. Okay, when it's out of the shell, that 6-inch long thing was sticking out of his pad and was moving around like it was alive. The ACL
It was sad.
alive.
What a terrible thing. So
terrible thing
Yep.
to have happen. Very great tight end.
Thielen won't play on Thursday. Probably
Thielen
won't
is
play
out.
the next week.
Taysom Hill has got mallet finger.
Yeah,
Mallet
he's going to
finger.
be questionable.
Yeah, he'll play. And we didn't get last week, long neck. The man with the longest neck in history. We didn't do this, but there was a sighting. He had to take over the Giants. And guess what?
Mike Glennon.
No, guess what? Guess
Jacob
what?
Fromm.
No, they long neck suffered a concussion. Okay, but he went back in. Like you know why? He got a concussion, a lower concussion near the neck. The injury signals didn't even get to the brain in time to realize he had a concussion. So they sent him back into the game. And on the play, he's making a play, right? He had his head out there. His head was about 2 yards past to where it should have been. A normal head, the knee would have missed that head by a yard. But the long neck, his neck is 2.5 feet from where the soft spot is in your throat to the chin. Mine's about, 5 inches, but his is 2.5 feet. 2.5 feet long neck. Why don't they put some kind of a padding around it just so it doesn't look so stupid?
It should put like a big O-ring around Mike Glennon's neck.
I mean,
when Mike Glennon drinks a glass of milk, by the time he starts drinking, it takes at least 3 minutes to hit his stomach.
Well, for God's sakes, they're saying on the sports show as well, the man with the longest neck in the National Football League. I mean, why would you play when your mom and your sisters, they're hearing that shit? He knows he's got to be a tough kid to take all that shit. Do you know what he had to go through when he was young?
And he's a ginger too, I think. So he's a ginger with a long neck.
Okay.
So he doesn't have a soul to begin with. And then he has a long neck.
Yeah, I don't know. They say it's growing. It's not supposed to grow after you reach 19 or 20. It has grown. 3.25 inches. Yes, since he's entered the league. Justin Fields will start. Not a good game to come back to against Green Bay.
No.
Pollard out. Actually, not out. He did not practice.
Okay, I was just say I thought he was going to play.
Well, he's got a foot. Probably will play. Gordon's back at practice, so there goes
Javonte Williams will be limited.
Swift did not practice at all. It's Wednesday. It's Thursday, Friday. I would say he'd be game time decision. They'll probably pull him with their record. And then you've got Alvin Kamara after missing 4 games in a row is back.
Yeah, that one I'm pretty positive on. It was questionable. I think Kamara comes back.
You think Kamara comes back? So I'm going to go ahead and
I think this week Kamara comes back.
All right, and then you've got Elijah Moore quad,
which concerns me. That one
very concerning. Then you've got Elijah Mitchell concussion.
Yeah. This might as well be the Purple People Squad injury report.
Concussion, right? And an ankle. So you've got Devonte Williams, Elijah Moore, Elijah Mitchell, and Carr, who put up, I think, 12 or 14 last week. And when we look at your roster quick here, going against Kansas City, I just don't know. Is Carr going? Is he a playoff quarterback? Should the team that starts Carr in the playoff be bumped for the 7 seed?
Well, let me ask you this: how many points did Carr put up against the Chiefs last time he played them? That'd be 23. So he puts up 23 points against the Chiefs last time. That's pretty respectable. I'd buy that.
Okay, let's move down. We've got James Conner. Well, who's coming back? Chase Edmonds. So you're going to be lucky to get 60% of those snaps because old Chase is pissed off. He's dynamic. He's versatile. His arrow is rising, at which point I will trade him. He's a good flex player.
Here's a question.
And you're starting Elijah Mitchell. So, and Davante, he's hurt. We'll go down here. We got Chase. Chase is going to be bugabooed by the Niners. And so maybe Chase 3 for 41, Tyreek Hill Tyreek Hill is trending way down. Let's just take a look at Tyreek's numbers over the last 2 weeks. 4, 21, 28, 8, 13. What is going on? What is going on?
Well, Tyreek Hill is a huge boom bust guy, but if you look at the last 5 games, which is legitimate, last 5 games, he scored above 20 points in 3 of those 5 games. I'll take that.
He had a 100-yard game 10 games ago. Now
I'll take the touchdowns.
He was the number 1 receiver, wasn't he, last year?
Sure. But I'll take the touchdowns, and here's the deal. This week gotta be like Aaron Rodgers. Relax. This week doesn't matter to me. I don't care. It's a regular season game. I'm going to make the playoffs. I prefer every one of my players be benched so that they can start the playoffs. Healthy.
Well,
healthy.
Patrick Mahomes looks like garbage. Patrick Mahomes looks like garbage.
Hey, that's your team. Don't come to me about your team.
I'm just saying that the Laces squad is a little bit concerned because he's just not throwing the ball downfield. What's going on?
Well, here's why. He's throwing on. Because if you watch the games with them, the announcers have done a good job analyzing this. Patrick Mahomes, the defense has finally started playing the 2 deep coverage. And so what that means is they're preventing the long passes to Tyreek and they're preventing long passes to Kelsey. And Patrick Mahomes is finally figuring out with the help of his coach that, hey, I'm not going to run around and throw, off my back foot 50 yards on the field. I'm going to take what the defense is giving me underneath. And so now the defenses may have to adjust because they're starting to get picked apart underneath because they're playing 2 high safeties. So that will come around. I think Tyreek will come around. I'm okay. I'm not panicked at all. Tyreek will be there for a playoff run.
I mean, you've got basically the MASH squad headed by Alan Alda up there playing quarterback. And, you've got Patrick Mahomes. He's around 6 yards per attempt here. Let's look at the last 7 games, going back to week 7, 11, 18, 13, 11, 15, 46. So what's the deal? Something happened. He went from 30s, 40s, and 20s to 11s, 12s, and a 40 game against the Raiders. Going against the Raiders again, so he should basically mop up with them. Then he ends up with the Chargers, Steelers, and Bengals. So
hey, the Purple People squad is just relax. All right. So Elijah Mitchell, I would love if they benched Elijah Mitchell, give him a week's rest. Elijah Moore, bench him this week, give him a week's rest. Devontae Adams, bench him this week, give him a week's rest. So that way we can open the playoffs and just whip ass.
That could be. Debo, by the way, is likely with that groin thing.
But he will be limited, I think. I don't think he's going to get the volume he's been gotten in the past. Debo, he'll play, but he will not be 100%.
So that brings in Sherfield, Ayuk,
George Kittle,
and maybe more.
Who had 44 points. George Kittle had 44 points.
Jeffrey Mitchell actually is under the weather.
Yep.
Somebody else, who was it that went on the COVID list that was quite of note here? I don't think I put it on here, but
there's been a lot of COVID ones lately.
And here's that Zimmer clip that you guys will hear, but he said basically in hindsight, would you have put more pressure on Goff on the last drive? And he's like, we really weren't covering that great. So, everything is hindsight. You weren't covering that well. So you rush 3. You didn't even rush 3. You put 8 back and it's the last play of the game. You don't take, like they had been doing, bump the guy off the line and stay with him. What are the odds they complete a play, what they just play regular, like safety over the top or man 2 or whatever? What are the odds they complete that play?
Unbelievable.
There's nothing to say. I think
It's the Lions. You lost to the Lions. That's all you need to say.
I think he goes. I think there's rumblings. Somebody said out of New Jersey that the Wilfs were circulating around who might be a GM or a coach. I don't know if Spielman's going to go. There's people that say he should go, maybe he shouldn't go, but
here's the deal. You lost to the Lions. That's it.
mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So top 10,
top of Tom, back on top after 4 touchdowns. Justin Herbert, look who's up there at number 2. I said he was up there at 9, and I said watch Stafford 3, Allen 4, Josh Allen, and Homey. Okay, anything wrong with that top 5?
Well, you just got done talking about your own quarterback being a disaster, and it doesn't look like it, right?
Well, he's
Funny
cobbling
how
it
that
together.
plays out, isn't it?
Cobbling. Cuz Buzz is a top 6. Hurts is 7. Lamar 8. Juicy
That
A-Rod.
big one there is Hurts.
9. And then of course
Hurts has got a bye week, and can he come back and will he be the starter? That's legit.
Hurts without a bye. He's up here around the 5. 6
Oh, wait, what's that name in there? I see it. Oh, Derek Carr. Okay.
This
one.
3 of the last 5 games have been in the teens. So he's peaking at the right moment.
Yeah.
Peaking at the right moment. I think he's losing the effect of the quarterback whisperer, the racist, misogynist,
John Gruden.
the big lips. All right, here we go. Cup number 1.
Stud.
Justin Jefferson, number 2. Justin Jefferson came up from number 11,
and he may
8,
take over number 1 with
7.
with Thielen out. With Thielen out, Jefferson may be number 1.
97 points in the last 3 games is the highest in the league. Okay.
Yep.
There's only been 2 40 burgers put up, and that's Hill and Cup. Debo didn't play, but Debo would have had to put up a little bit of numbers because Jefferson put up, quite a few numbers, 40. So Hill.
Wait a sec. Who's number 4?
Devonte.
No. Who's number 4? It'd be Hill. Oh, Hill. Okay. I just want to be sure. It was Hill. So Hill isn't quite as disastrous as you were making out.
Let's look at this. 2 of his last 4 games have been in single digits. Somewhat unprecedented. Somewhat could be a trend.
Another way of putting that is 3 of his last 5 games have been over 20 points.
That's right. Now, the number 5 receiver, Devonte, is 100 points behind Cooper Kupp.
But that just shows you what that tells you is how incredible Kupp season has been.
That's right. So far.
Yep.
We're going to round that out with 6 through 10. Godwin at 6. Allen, Deontay, Jamar, and Patterson still rearing his ugly head in there at 10. So we're going to go ahead.
He's a machine.
Do the running backs. We got J-Tay, Eckler, and Mixon. I don't think
now
there's
Mixon
any change
is
there.
a little bit banged up, so he's probably going to drop.
He could drop. And then, of course, Najee will probably drop because of the ferocious line of the Vikings with Delvin Tomlinson, Michael Pierce, and the rest. He'll probably go 32 carries, $140 and 2 touchdowns, 6 yards a carry with about 8 catches. So should put him up there around number 3. Fournette steadily sticking.
Unbelievable.
Number 5.
Unbelievable.
End of the season.
Unbelievable.
Under the season.
Yep.
Derrick Henry comes in at 6.
Still in the top 10 despite missing all those games.
Zeke hanging in the 7.
Yep.
Swift, had he played, would have been 6. You got James Conner down at 7.
That's my boy, James Conner. He's not going to drop out. He's going to keep scoring touchdowns.
Number 8, Antonio Gibson, who they've been throwing the ball more. They threw the ball more to Gibson. McKissick is out. He's going to get a lot more touches.
Healthy.
And he's gonna go ahead and pick up some steam there. Just some interesting facts here. DK Metcalf is the number 23rd ranked scoring receiver in fantasy. Number 23. He is on the Laces squad. DJ Moore top 10. 19. Rated 19. Diggs. Wasn't Diggs the number 1 receiver in fantasy last year?
Diggs
Believe
Diggs
he
will
was.
climb.
Believe he
Diggs
was.
will climb.
He's the number 13 receiver.
Yeah, he'll climb. He'll
He
climb.
would have been in the top 10 without that bye. DeAndre Hopkins, number 33. So he's a wide receiver, almost a wide receiver 4 right now.
That'll change. His health
points per
change.
game.
Expect him to go wild here in the next couple of weeks.
Next couple of weeks, he's going to go wild for sure.
I expect Hopkins to put up some big numbers in the next couple of weeks.
So before we kind of close out the show here, we're going to go and pull up the Skol logo. Not the Skol logo, but the Bridesmaids logo, because indeed, the Bridesmaids logo is one that is very, very diverse and complex. He spent a lot of time massaging that out. You know, I think we do have some cute ones in the league, but I think we have to take at some of these that might be worth looking at here. So
very well done.
Let's go ahead and get a full picture screen on that. Where's Bridesy?
Who did that logo?
See that?
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start here. There's the hair. He's got some kind of a
He's got like a horn.
Well, this here is some kind of a fabric headpiece, isn't it?
Well, it's
Brown
yeah,
piece?
but it looks like a bison horn on the back of his head. The blue looks like a bison head with the
here's
horn
the
coming out
horn
of it.
here, right?
Yep.
But what's the brown? Isn't that like a headband of some kind, woven out of leather or something? He's got the blue hair, yellow hair.
But I think the blue hair looks like a bison. If you look at the blue hair, it looks like a bison head.
Wait a minute, no. He's got several different things that he's melded together here that but look at the nose, the mouth, and the eyes there.
Yep.
I mean, you really don't notice it when it's a small, just a pin shot. But again, I'll post this on YouTube, and so people can watch us, because oftentimes, maybe they do want to see what the hell's going on, right? So I should start posting the program on the YouTube as well. So if you want to listen there, you can as well. You want to make sure you share with your friends and enemies as well. Make sure you subscribe. And one thing else we want to go over is the matchups. We're going to go and do the recaps because that's really what's important right now.
Yeah, if you look at the Skol's logo, he did a good job. The blue hair is actually a bison head with the horn coming out. So you can notice that.
All right. So there is some definite thought pattern that was.
Yep. All right. So here's the matchups for week 14. We'll just start at the top. Purple people against Bridesmaids of Honor. Yeah, your logo is great, but you're going to get crushed. Sorry, brother. I'm going to wreak my vengeance after losing last week. You're going to be crushed. Crazy Horse versus Skol. Upset of the week. Skol is going to beat Crazy Horse and is going to be a upset. Crazy Horse is going to get a second loss. Smashing Pumpkinheads will defeat Meat Curtains. Meat Curtains is my current 12th team in the league. Next year he'll have draft picks. He'll come back, but now he just won't beat Smashing Pumpkinheads. Ragnar's Revenge on the rise. He will secure a playoff spot by winning his division and beating CC Fall Guy. I had him at the bottom of my rankings for much of the year. I rose him up over the last couple of weeks with Javonte Williams and Hunter Renfrow. Ragnar's is in the playoffs. Half chub and Laces out. Sorry, man. Laces out will take the win. That one will go right down to the wire. It will be 2 to 5 point difference. Laces out wins. Boomer Nation. After all the controversy, after all the text messages, he will knock Just Win Baby out of the playoffs. Just win, baby, will lose to Boomer Nation. And that sums up the week.
So essentially, who wins that last division there?
Ragnar's Revenge.
Ragnar does win that division. He pulls out a win this week, huh?
Shocking as it is, Julio Jones is back. Hunter Renfrow will score. Javonte Williams will score. And Dak Prescott will have a career game.
He might put up a 160, 170 if he's not careful this time of year. I don't know.
Yep.
What the hell's going on with him?
Ragnar, he will make the playoffs and lose in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, you've been predicting his demise for, it's like, this is the last week, week 3, he will now be at the cellar, and he beats these teams like 98 to 84, then he'll put up a good week. So I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
If you go back the last couple of weeks, I had him rising to number 10-9. And because Javonte Williams is finally getting the ball and Hunter Renfrow is playing, now if he gets Julio Jones and Dak Prescott playing, he's 7-8.
Well, I think the team that I would be most likely not want to face right now is Skull.
Yep.
Because of what's going on with Lace's squad, what's going on with Crazy Squad, what's going on with my squad, with your squad. We all have some chinks right at the moment,
Yep.
So depending
that's like
on,
I said, I hope my coaches bench everyone. This week. Come back healthy. First round of the playoffs, I crush Ragnar. Crush him.
Well, I don't have a bye, which means I'm going to win because I always lose when I have buys. But yeah, we'll get into a little more interesting stuff. But just to kind of let you guys know that we're going to probably put have another owner or two segment on Friday, and then maybe over the weekend, when we're kind of off middle of Christmas till the new year, we're going to have some nice clips of the history of not only John Facenda, but of the great games in Super Bowl history, some of the great players, and also the absolute repeat story of each of the Super Bowls. And we're going back 60, 70 years, and it's the same shit. So I just want you people to understand what
generational
history is saying, what they're saying. And the press conferences back then with Jeff George, they sound just like they do now. We got to play better. We got to make better plays. We just got to, they're holding us all the time. They're holding our backs. They're holding our, so did we kind of cover everything? Did we cover the drama? Covered the drama segment. I had a
great show, best show yet.
I had a bad week. We'll have to go into that next time. I mean, you can't, I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of the crippled guys, because I'm serious. You ain't going to believe what happened to me this week. I was going to start out with it. We had too much drama. I hope we covered everybody's teams as much as they felt like should have been covered. We didn't have any owners on, which would have been nice just to have one of them. We thought we were going to have 3 or 4 and maybe 5, and indeed 0. So I guess for the Smash Dell Fantasy Show, this is Smash and Purple over there. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Smash Dell Fantasy Show. And until next week,
have
boys.
a great night.
Until next week, boys. Skol. Enjoy the show.